Mr. Lowe, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, Chris.
The past year has seen one of the fastest interest rate raising cycles in Australian history. And on your watch, hasn't it?
It has. We've been working tirelessly. Barely a month has gone by where we weren't out there pulling the levers of monetary policy.
That's true. When did it all start happening? Can you give us a timeline?
Oh, pretty much immediately after I said there'd be no rate rise until 2024.
Going back, take us over what happened.
Well, it was COVID, you see, Chris. That was like a storm for the economy. And we were out here filling sandbags for the Australian people to protect their houses from being wiped out.
Sandbags to protect their houses? But Australians couldn't afford houses because the rates were so low for so long.
Well, those that could had very big houses, so they certainly appreciated all the sandbags they could get.
So taking us back to where it all started, interest rates were at a record low.
Oh yes, we're very proud of that.
And the economy was recovering from COVID and opening up nicely.
Yep.
And so what did you do?
Well, I started aggressively raising rates.
Why would you do that?
No, to stop the very high inflation, Chris.
Was there high inflation at that time?
No. But the US informed me that they were going to be doing inflation.
So inflation was coming in the US and you decided we needed higher rates here.
That's correct. We're data-driven at the RBA, Chris. It's what keeps us from overreacting. We do what's needed when it's needed.
And then what happened next?
Oh, I got a call from Europe and they said they were going to be doing inflation as well.
Oh, Europe said that.
Even bigger than the US, they said.
And what did you do?
Well, I did what they told me to do.
I mean, what was your policy response?
Well, I aggressively raised the rates. It's what a responsible central bank does, Chris.
Was there any more inflation out there?
Oh yes, Chris. After that I was getting calls about inflation all over the place. It was the latest trend. All the countries were doing it.
And you kept aggressively raising rates?
Oh, relentlessly. It's responsible and stops us from overreacting.
And then what happened?
Well, as you'd expect, the trend made its way here. Very high inflation numbers. It's terrible, Chris. People are suffering.
That is terrible. But you saw this coming and are prepared?
No, not at all.
Isn't this what all of those rate rises were for, to protect us from exactly this situation?
Well, it's hard to say, Chris. I mean, the US and Europe seem to have stopped doing inflation for the time being.
But we still have high inflation here?
Oh, very much so. Australia's still keeping that trend alive, well and truly.
So you'll know what to do when the time comes, if inflation doesn't return to normal in Australia.
Well, we won't just blindly overreact, that's for sure.
Governor Lowe, thanks for your time.